Imagine standing on a dark, lonely pier at midnight, reaching out toward a tiny, flickering green light that feels just inches away. Is the American dream just a beautifully packaged lie designed to keep us running on a treadmill of endless, unsatisfied consumption and longing? Today, we dive into Scott Fitzgerald's masterpiece, The Great Gatsby, a book that acts as a mirror to our own deepest, darkest insecurities. Fitzgerald wasn't just writing about a rich guy throwing parties. He was documenting the frantic, hollow pulse of the roaring 20s in America. We live in an era where everyone is trying to build a personal brand. But Jay Gatsby was the original influencer of West Egg. He reinvented himself from a penniless soldier into a mysterious millionaire, all for the sake of a girl he loved 5 years ago. This story is narrated by Nick Carraway, a man who claims to be objective but finds himself intoxicated by the very world he despises. Nick serves as our eyes, watching the collision between the old money of East Egg and the new money of West Egg's flashy mansions. As we journey through this narrative, we'll see how Gatsby's tragic obsession with the past ultimately leads to his inevitable and heartbreaking downfall. Let's explore our first core theme, the illusion of reinvention and why we constantly try to edit our own life stories for others. James Gatz was a boy with nothing but a dream, who literally killed his old self to become the legendary, elusive Jay Gatsby. Think about how we curate our social media today, filtering out the struggle to present a life that doesn't actually exist to the world. Gatsby's parties weren't just about the champagne and the jazz. They were a desperate performance designed to catch the eye of Daisy Buchanan. He bought a mansion directly across the bay from her, filling it with celebrities just so she might one day wander through his doors. We often think that if we just acquire the right things, the car, the house, the title, we can finally win back what we lost. But Gatsby's tragedy is that he thought money could buy back time, which is the only currency the universe never, ever refunds to us. He famously told Nick, "Can't repeat the past? Why, of course you can." A line that perfectly captures his dangerous, beautiful, and fatal delusion. In our modern world, this is like trying to recreate a perfect moment from a previous relationship, hoping the sparks will fly exactly the same. The more Gatsby tried to force the past into the present, the more he lost touch with the reality of who Daisy had actually become. He was in love with a memory, a vision of Daisy from 5 years ago, not the cynical, bored socialite she had evolved into. Now, let's talk about the careless people. The second core theme exploring the cold, shielded world of the ultra-wealthy and the established elite. Tom and Daisy Buchanan represent that untouchable, old-money arrogance that views the world as a playground and other people as disposable playthings. Nick describes them as people who smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness without remorse. Think about the last time a big corporation made a massive error and simply paid a fine while thousands of employees suffered the consequences. The Buchanans use their wealth as a fortress, a physical and psychological barrier that protects them from the messes they create in other lives. Gatsby, despite his millions, is never truly one of them because his money is dirty and his manners are a bit too practiced and eager. This class divide is brilliantly illustrated by the Valley of Ashes, a desolate gray landscape between the rich suburbs and the bustling city. The people living there, like the Wilsons, are the literal fuel for the luxury of the rich, yet they are treated as invisible or expendable. When Myrtle Wilson is killed by Gatsby's car, driven by Daisy, the Buchanans simply pack their bags and leave, letting Gatsby take the blame. It is a chilling reminder that in certain circles, loyalty is a one-way street, and the poor are often left to clean up the wreckage. This brings us to the third core theme, the corrosive nature of obsession and the symbol of the green light that haunts us all. That green light isn't a beacon of hope. It's a symbol of the toxic someday that prevents us from living in the now. Yet Gatsby believed that if he could just touch that light, his life would finally be complete and his past would be erased. We've all been there, thinking that if we just get that promotion, that follower count, or that house, we'll finally be worthy of love. But when Gatsby finally gets Daisy in his house, he realizes that the colossal significance of that light has vanished forever. The reality of the person can never compete with the perfection of the dream we've spent years carefully constructing in our minds. Fitzgerald warns us that if we live only for the future, we end up drowning in the shadows of a past we can't escape. Gatsby's death is quiet and lonely, a stark contrast to the thousands who drank his wine and danced at his parties just days before. Not a single one of his friends shows up to his funeral, proving that his life was a stage play where the audience left as soon as the show ended. In our modern hustle culture, we often sacrifice our present health and relationships for a future that might never actually arrive. So, we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. One of the most haunting lines in all of literature. It means that our history is like a magnet, pulling us back even as we try to row forward toward a new horizon. The Great Gatsby is a tragedy because Gatsby was too good for the world he tried to enter, yet too obsessed to stay in the world he came from. He had an extraordinary gift for hope and a romantic readiness that made him noble, even if his methods were corrupt. Nick eventually leaves New York, disgusted by the East, realizing that the glitter was just a thin veneer over a rotting core. What's your green light? Is it a healthy goal that drives you, or is it a ghost from a decade ago that you need to finally let go of? Maybe the secret isn't to reach the light, but to realize that we are already standing on the shore, and the present moment is all we truly have. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Jazz Age and the human soul, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more literary journeys. Drop a comment below. Have you ever chased something so hard that you forgot why you wanted it in the first place? Let's discuss. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning, and remember, don't let your past become the anchor that sinks your future. See you soon.